TV360 Nigeria. I am Annetta Felix. After 4.5 months of combating Lassa fever in 21 states, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control (NCDC) says the emergency phase of the disease is over. Now, due to increased reports of cases of the disease in January, the NCDC activated a National Emergency Operations Center (AOC) to coordinate response activities to the outbreak. Meanwhile, 83 local government areas have been identified as hotspots for cholera in Nigeria as the rainy season begins. Cholera hotspots are places where the disease outbreak occurs on a regular basis. Bauchi, Kano, and Zamfara carry over 70% of the burden of the disease. In a related development, Kano State has recorded its first case of polio in 3 years. The disease was discovered at Damanawa Ward in Taruni local government area. Human rights group Amnesty International is urging President Muhammadu Buhari to implement policies that will protect the rights of Nigerians as he assumes his second term in office. The group made the call at a book launch in Abuja, where they detailed an 8-point agenda requesting that past cases of human rights abuses be addressed and that all Nigerians respect the rights of others as enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution.
As a member state of the African Union and the United Nations, has ratified several human rights treaties, imposing clear obligations on the authorities to respect, protect, and fulfill human rights for everyone within its jurisdiction. The foregoing alleged human rights violations and abuses perpetrated by state actors and non-state actors respectively are believed to be on the rise. The urgent need to end the growing impunity for human rights violations is what necessitated the launch of the Human Rights Agenda by Amnesty International. The 21-page booklet contains an 8-point agenda recommended to the Nigerian government to end decades of human rights violations and pervasive impunity by making human rights central to its agenda.
We are all aware that across Nigeria, the president and governors have taken oath of office. And after taking that oath, they have been making promises, they have been mentioning what will be their priority, they have been talking about problems they are going to tackle, and they are setting the agenda for the next 4 years. Whether we like it or not, what they have said they are going to do is going to affect us directly and indirectly. Now, one thing that is missing, and we want to fill in that gap, is where is human rights? We want Nigerians to be asking, where is human rights? I have listened to so many, inauguration speeches, but I have never heard of any leader mentioning, anything about human rights.
Full compliance to human rights treaties and implementation of the National Human Rights Framework is lacking, and implementation is often a mirage. Today, Amnesty International presents an 8-point agenda, which are 8 issues with recommendations that it considers crucial for the incoming administration at all levels of government to commit to in order to build a human rights focused and a rights-respecting society. These are: 1. End all forms of violence against women and girls. 2. Protect the rights of children. 3. Ensure accountability for the Niger Delta cleanup. 4. Guarantee freedom of expression.
Amnesty International has documented killings of hundreds, extrajudicial executions, arbitrary arrests, and detention. It is hoped that the recommendations to President Muhammadu Buhari on a second tenure will help put paid to the wave of violations and abuses. Judicial, TV360, Abuja.
An Abuja High Court has thrashed a suit alleging that the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Mohammed, falsified his age. The case judge, Justice Danlami Senchi, in his ruling explains that the plaintiff lacks the local standing or legal right to institute the suit. After throwing out the case, Justice Senchi ordered the Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court to begin disciplinary action against the plaintiff's counsel for unprofessional conduct. A cost of 10 million naira was also awarded against the plaintiff. The plaintiff, Tochi Michael, had argued that Justice Mohammed reduced his age by 3 years. Months after he claims that a snake swallowed the sum of 35 million naira, 6 officials of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board (JAM) have been arraigned before a federal high court in Abuja. Philomena Chesi and 5 others were arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on 8 counts bordering on refusal to account for the missing money. The offense contravenes Section 139A of the Penal Code law. After pleading not guilty to the charges, counsel to the defendants filed an application for bail. The court subsequently adjourned the matter till Monday, June 3rd. It also ordered that the defendants be remanded in EFCC custody until the adjourned date. Meanwhile, in Lagos, a federal high court has dismissed an application by Governor Emmanuel Udom of Akwa Ibom State challenging the jurisdiction of the court to hear the money laundering charge filed against the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Paul Usoro SAN. Dismissing the suit, Justice Rilwan Aikawa held that Governor Udom's application lacked merit because he is not a party to the suit. At the last adjourned date of May 10th, Governor Udom, through his counsel, argued that it was illegal for the EFCC to put the governor's name in the charge as he still enjoys immunity as enshrined in Section 308 of the Constitution. In the charge, the EFCC alleged that Usoro converted and laundered the money in connivance with Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State. The trial has now been adjourned to July 3rd, 2019. After a series of complaints and allegations of security breach, the Oyo State government has prescribed the activities of the National Union of Road Transport Workers in the state. The ban follows the arrest of 6 NURTW members for disturbances at motor parks between Wednesday and Thursday. Announcing the development, Chief of Staff to the Governor, Bisi Ilaka, urged the people of Oyo to go about their lawful duties without fear of molestation, adding that combined security task force in every community of Oyo have been charged to take control and maintain peace and order. Now, this prescription takes immediate effect. Lawmakers in the House of Representatives has absolved the management of the University of Lagos of all allegations of corruption and abuse of office. The school management had been rocked by crisis over allegations of abuse of public procurement laws. Presenting its findings, a 16-member committee of the House assigned investigates the allegations said it found the school's accounting books clean. The committee, however, recommended a review of the composition of the university's governing council, saying its current membership composition is not in tandem with federal character principle. A former nominee to the board of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Saad Alanamu, has been sentenced to 24 years in prison for collecting and giving a bribe. Alanamu, who was a former chairman of the Governing Council of Kwara State Polytechnic, was convicted by the Kwara State High Court on 8 counts of bribery. He was convicted alongside one Salman Suleiman, the Chief Executive Director of Nyamlas Nigeria Limited. The third defendant, which is the company, has been ordered to pay a fine of 1 million naira. Alanamu was nominated into the board of the ICPC in 2017, but was later dropped on an allegation of corruption. He is accused of collecting the sum of 5 million naira as bribe from a contractor friend and as kickback to the award of a contract. Yaba College of Technology has held an inaugural lecture series in Lagos. The focus of the lecture is its new distance learning program for 12 departments in the college. The lecture, titled Walking Through the Shadow of the Web and Ever-Evolving Cyberspace, highlights the school's commitments to online education. This next report has the details. Almost 2 million Nigerians registered for the 2019 Joint Admission and Matriculation Board Examination, JAM. Only a small percentage of candidates who sat for the exam scored the required marks for entrance into universities, and not all who passed will receive a congratulatory mail from their choice schools.
My reaction to the issue of marginalized candidates was to carry out a survey of opinion of marginalized college students about online tertiary education in 2009. A major alternative to this is online tertiary education, and the purpose of the study was to determine the extent of awareness of Nigerian college students about online tertiary education and the practicability of the same in Nigeria. The results from the study showed, among other things, that more than 68% of Nigerian college students are aware and have tried accessing online education. It's also revealed that online education is practicable in Nigeria.
As Dr. Itagboje mentioned, there's an opportunity for marginalized students to access education using technology, but there's a catch.
If students must learn at a distance using technology, then the quality must not be different from what's obtained in the face-to-face mode of delivery.
We have not tapped over 50% of the possibilities in technology. There is still many more things to automate and to innovate. What we need to encourage is the students to become more creative, more entrepreneurial, more innovative, to come out from their sleeping beds and work hard. And there's value for it at the end of the day for all of them.
The computer technology professor explains the importance of tech and the internet in other professions beyond education.
You find out that ICT pervades everywhere, every area. Whether it is journalism, whether it is agric, right? Whether it is education, whether it is medicine, every area, no matter what the profession is, whether it is law, it is ICT that they would use to do whatever it is they want to do. You can do advertising. You find out these days that even people who are just tying gele and doing all kinds of things, they're all going on the video to YouTube to go and tie gele. Why are they doing that? They are doing it because they know that people can advertise on their YouTube. And so they go there to do it for free, but they know that they are going to get money from all those advertising that people are doing, you know. So ICT permeates everywhere, and it is going to make life easy for people.
There's a growing appreciation for technology as the world evolves, and with the help of the internet, up-and-coming generations have the opportunity to not just access education beyond the four walls of a classroom, but to also automate processes and bring about innovation to simplify life. You're still watching News Now on TV360 Nigeria, and we'll be joining Fidelia Aguncha for business after this.
Corruption not in my country.
Madam, Madam, welcome. Okay, Madam, no worry. When you deliver the balance, we'll give you the goods.
No problem, no problem. All right, so now well done.
Thank you. Hey, Oga, I still say she don't bring money. Maybe we'll use this one for her now. She wants mahogany, not white wood. Oga, our work now to join wood together, deliver whatever to customer, put the remaining profit for pocket.
This is corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
You're welcome back, and yes, Fidelia Aguncha is standing by, and I have to ask you, there's been a lot of discussions in the Nigerian Senate regarding fuel subsidy. Please tell us, what's the focus of the news this time?
Well, Aneta, the Nigerian Senate has approved the payment of 129 billion naira as final subsidy arrest payment to 67 oil marketing companies. Senate Committee on Downstream Petroleum Sector approved the sum after an investigation into the matter. The committee says its findings will bring an end to all issues regarding petroleum subsidy arrest program. The lawmakers, however, expressed worry that Nigeria is losing huge amounts of money to payment of subsidy.
We as Nigerians take a definitive position on subsidy because from 2006 to now, to 2016, Nigeria spent a whopping sum of over 10 trillion naira on subsidy. So you begin to wonder who is subsidizing who. These monies are going somewhere. And from 2015, when Mr. President came into office and stopped everything subsidy, then claims started coming as a result of this accrued interest, devaluation of naira, and so on. Just last week, we passed another 58 billion. This is another 129. And before it, we passed 348 billion. And at the beginning, about 56 billion. If you put everything together, we are talking about 11 trillion naira, of subsidy. And this issue keeps going on and on and on.
This issue of subsidy has been lingering on for decades. But it was hoped that from 2015, when the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, before he became a president, asked one simple question: who is subsidizing who? And since that time, nothing has changed. It is important for us to understand and accept that until and unless this country, an oil-producing and oil-exporting nation, is able to establish refineries and refine its own crude oil, this cycle of exploitation and plunder in the name of subsidy will continue.
The issue of subsidy is now on a first-line charge on oil revenue, which is extremely dangerous because that is completely unknown to our Constitution. Because the implication, therefore, is that those expenditures are never appropriated. So it's a possible area of conflict between the executive and the Parliament. I do hope that the next assembly will be able to sit down with the executive in order to address this issue and resolve it without creating unnecessary tension.
Meanwhile, the Senate has rejected the federal government's plan to downgrade the Akanu-Ibiam International Airport in Enugu. The lawmakers debating on the move during plenary advised the government to rehabilitate the facility rather than downgrade the airport. This next report tells us more. Akanu-Ibiam International Airport faces the threat of being downgraded, and the reason is not far-fetched. A bad runway, a broadcasting mast close to the airport, and an abattoir market have all combined to make the facility unfriendly to airlines and a safety concern. These issues, coupled with the lack of water supply and regular power outage, is behind the recent proposal by the federal government to strip Akanu-Ibiam of its international title. But the Senate, however, feels different.
Akanu-Ibiam International Airport is the only international airport in the entire southeast of Nigeria. Further aware that following the launch of the airport as an international facility in 2013, not much have been done in giving the airport a facelift that befits an international airport in terms of standard structures and other facilities that will enhance smooth operation. Worried that currently the airport has only one runway, which is in bad shape, haven't been patched, and lacks the second runway that should serve as an alternative in keeping with international standards.
The reality of Akanu-Ibiam International Airport is not an airport that is simply used by the people of the Southeast. Once it is said this is an international airport, it's an airport for every person. And the strategic importance of that airport in the southeastern part of Nigeria is in the interests of all Nigerians.
It is necessary that we must look critically at all facilities available for air travel to ensure that we are constantly upgrading them. So to hear anything about downgrading it's an anticlimax. For this reason, we must support fully all that needs to be done to ensure that this airport is upgraded, even from where it is, not to talk about any form of downgrading whatsoever.
I find it very funny that an airport, an international airport, have no source of water supply. We rely only on tankers and fire service vans. It's a very shameful situation, Mr. President.
Enugu is the center of the southeast, and people from other states have also testified that they also patronize this airport. So I'm recommending, sir, that instead of taking away all the defects that the minister talked about, that place to be used for now, and the Ministry of Aviation should set its sights in trying to construct a befitting airport that will service the people of the southeast, the people of the middle belt, and everybody that is concerned.
After deliberating on the issue, the lawmakers agreed that the Ministry of Aviation upgrade the airports to match international status. They also want the runway rehabilitated and the new terminal building completed with reliable water and power supply provided.
I want to thank all those who alluded to the fact that the airport is not just for the people of Enugu or the southeast, it serves everybody. When the Ethiopian airline had issues and then some people died, even Nigerians died, though it didn't happen in Nigeria. So matters that has to do with aviation is a universal issue, and we must all take it seriously. So this speaks to the need for us to continue to maintain our facilities nationwide.
Aside Enugu, 11 other cities in southeast Nigeria depend on the Akanu Ibiam Airport for aviation services. In 2010, the airport underwent major renovation and expansion works, which lasted about 10 months. The Enugu state government has now demolished the aperture and removed the obstructing broadcast mast to allow maintenance work commence at the airport. Well, up next is a review of the stock market after this. It was a predominantly negative week for the Nigeria Stock Exchange, with the market recording just 1 day of gain. After crashing by 2.22% on Monday, the bulls returned to the market on Tuesday, pushing key market indicators up by 3.68%. Trading resumed bearish on Thursday after a public holiday on Wednesday, and we can see a repeat of the trend today as the market inches lower by 0.59%. Largely influencing this downtrend is Nestle plc, unable to maintain its spot on the gainers chart as seen yesterday. It is falling by 4.4 naira 50 kobo to close at 1,450 naira per share. Nigeria Breweries and Guinness also saw more sell-offs than buys today to book a spot each on the losers chart. Conversely, it was a good day for Cement Company of Northern Nigeria, Dangote Flour, Forte Oil and MTN, which has been on a gaining spree, making the chart for the third straight day. In summary, shares worth more than 2.7 billion naira were transacted in 3,737 deals. It is also a bearish market on the Dow, FTSE and Nikkei, and the downtrend is largely influenced by U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to impose a 5% tariff on all Mexico goods coming into the U.S. And that is from the world of business. It's back to Annetta Felix.
Thanks for that update, Fidelia. Sad one day on the global scene and here in Nigeria. But moving on to global politics, United States President Donald Trump has announced tariffs on all goods coming from Mexico, demanding the country curb illegal immigration into the United States. In a tweet, Trump said from the 10th of June, a 5% tariff will be imposed and would slowly rise until the illegal immigration problem is remedied. The U.S. president had declared a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border in February. He said it was necessary in order to tackle what he claimed was a crisis at the U.S. southern border. And now in sports, Nigeria's Super Eagles will commence a one-week campaign in Asaba on Sunday ahead of the 2019 AFCON scheduled to take place in Egypt. The team's technical advisor, Gennett Raw, disclosed this in an exclusive interview with TV360 Nigeria. Raw further explained that 2 players will be dropped from the 25-man squad before the team jets out to Egypt for the tournament.
We start the campaign next Sunday, 2nd of June in Asaba. And then we will have 1 week of preparation, physical preparation, medical tests, but also technical and tactical preparation. The most difficult is to drop players who are doing well, who are training, but there is competition and we have to do a choice. We have a lot of offensive players when you see our list, so it's very sympathetic to have a lot of offensive players, but we cannot play only with offensive players. So we have to choose, and there will be a fair competition. We will do also some tests, of course, for the physical aptitude and the physical fitness. It's very, very important to be fit. We have also some players who could not come in the last time, like Kalu, who had these family problems and then he had the injury. And one is coming back, but he knows the house. This is Obi Mikel. He could not come since the World Cup. The door was all the time open for him, was never closed. I didn't change my mind. I wanted to invite him already before, but he could not because he had some injuries, or he had this long break in China, remember, and then he was searching for the club. His last game with us was against Argentina. He played under very difficult circumstances, and then he never said he wants to stop. We all the time were in touch. He followed what we are doing.
Antonio Conte has been named Inter Milan manager, replacing the sacked Luciano Spalletti. The 49-year-old returns to work in Italy after being dismissed by Chelsea at the end of last season. He spent 2 years at Stamford Bridge, where he won the Premier League and FA Cup, having previously claimed 3 Serie A titles as boss of Juventus. Under Spalletti, Inter finished 4th in the league and qualified for the Champions League. Announcing the appointment, Inter president says he was sure Antonio Conte is one of the best coaches out there. And for here, it's a final wrap on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. Many thanks for watching, and bye for now.